Hello everyone, I'm Sahithi. Welcome back to my channel. Till now we have seen aerobic respiration in 3 steps: glycolysis, link reaction and Krebs cycle. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen and large amount of ATP is released in this process. But till now we neither used O2 nor large amount of ATP is synthesized. So now let's see how ATP are synthesized. Before understanding how ATP are produced, we have to know electron transport system, which is located in inner mitochondrial membrane. So first we will see mitochondrial structure. Outside the mitochondria is the cytoplasm. This is outer mitochondrial membrane. This is inner mitochondrial membrane. This one is matrix. And this part is intermitochondrial space. So first we will see the components of the electron transport system. This is the matrix. This is the inner mitochondrial membrane. This is the intermitochondrial space. And here is the outer mitochondrial membrane and there's the cytoplasm. Electron transport system has 5 complexes and 2 mobile carriers. The first complex is NADH dehydrogenase. The second one is succinic dehydrogenase. Third one, cytochrome BC1 or cytochrome C reductase. Fourth one is cytochrome AA3 or cytochrome C oxidase. The fifth one is ATP synthase. So how to remember the complexes names? In the first complex, NADH plus H plus changes to NAD plus. Here hydrogens are getting removed, right? So this is called as NADH dehydrogenase. And if we see the second complex, succinic acid is changing to fumaric acid. Here succinic is getting dehydrogenase. So this one is succinic dehydrogenase. Coming to the third complex, it is called as cytochrome BC1 because there is a cytochrome C1 and cytochrome B. Why it is called as cytochrome C reductase? From here, electrons are getting transported to cytochrome C. Here cytochrome C is getting the electrons, right? So cytochrome C reductase. And coming to the fourth complex, it is cytochrome AA3 because cytochrome A, cytochrome A3 are the components of this complex. And cytochrome C oxidase because electrons are getting transferred from cytochrome C to the fourth complex. Electrons are getting removed from the cytochrome C, right? So cytochrome C oxidase. And fifth complex is ATP synthase because here ATP is getting synthesized. You should also remember the components present in each complex. If you remember the components, it will be easier for you to solve any question from these concepts. So first complex has FMN and FES. What is FMN? Flavin mononucleotide. Coming to the second complex, FAD and FES are present. What is FAD? Flavin adenosine dinucleotide. This is the iron sulfur complex. You may confuse between FAD and FMN where to place. M and N comes one after the other in the alphabets, right? You can remember like that. Coming to the third complex, cytochrome B, cytochrome C1, FES complex are present. In the fourth complex, copper A, copper B and cytochrome A, cytochrome A3 are present. The 2 mobile carriers are, one is UQ, that is ubiquinone. It is also called as coenzyme Q. And the second mobile carrier is cytochrome C, which is placed just behind the inner mitochondrial membrane. It is towards the peripheral side. It is present in the space, not in the membrane. Ubiquinone, after getting electrons, it changes to UQH2, that is ubiquinol. Reduced ubiquinone is called as ubiquinol. Now we will see the pathway of the electrons. Here NADH plus H plus gets oxidized and 2 electrons are formed here. So these electrons move to FMN, FES, ubiquinone, ubiquinol, and then cytochrome B, FES, cytochrome C1, cytochrome C, copper A, cytochrome A3, copper B. And here 2 electrons gets added with a half mole of oxygen and with 2 H plus, and a 1 molecule of water is formed here. In this process, this complex 2 is not involved. If FADH2 is getting oxidized, it will go through this pathway. First FAD, FES, ubiquinone, ubiquinol, cytochrome B, FES, cytochrome C1, cytochrome C, copper A, cytochrome A3, copper B. Again 1 water molecule is formed. While FADH2 is getting oxidized, this complex 1 is not involved. You have to remember this. So from 1 NADH plus H plus, there is release of 1 water molecule. From 1 FADH2, there is release of 1 water molecule. If they ask from whole respiration, glycolysis 2 NADH plus H plus are released. In link reaction 2 NADH plus H plus. In Krebs cycle 6 NADH plus H plus are released. So in total 10 NADH plus H plus and 2 FADH2 from Krebs cycle. So 10 NADH plus H plus gives 10 water molecules and 2 FADH2 gives 2 water molecules. In whole 10 plus 2, 12 water molecules are released. Due to the energy released from the oxidation of NADH plus H plus and FADH2, here protons will be accumulated in the intermitochondrial space. This is called as oxidative phosphorylation. Whereas in photosynthesis, protons will be accumulated in the lumen of the thylakoid. That is called as photophosphorylation. You have to note that from the first complex, 4 H plus are accumulated in this. From second complex, no protons will be accumulated. From the third complex, 4 H plus. From the fourth complex, 2 H plus. Now coming to the actual synthesis of ATP, this is the fifth complex which is called as ATP synthase. It has 2 components. One is F0 and another is F1. F0 is the integral membrane protein. It is the channel for H plus to pass. F1 is the peripheral membrane protein where ATP is synthesized. You have to note that for every 2H plus passage, 1 ATP is synthesized. You should also remember that 1 NADH plus H plus gives 3 ATP and 1 FADH2 gives 2 ATP. So in total respiration process, 10 NADH plus H plus are formed, right? So 10 into 3, 30 ATP are formed. Whereas if we take 2 FADH2, 2 into 2 ATP gives 4 ATP. So in total, due to NADH plus H plus and FADH2, 34 ATP are formed. If you have any doubts regarding electron transport system and oxidative phosphorylation, comment in the comment section and I will clarify them. In my next video, I will be sharing you respiratory balance sheet. Stay tuned for the video and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.